can't use navigation unless you pay a subscription fee for it, right? Which is insane. Like, you
I'd really recommend that you go check out that video. But what the creator was really talking about was that it's a Toyota, modern new Toyota car, and in order for her to just use the navigation app, which is already built into the car, she needs to pay a subscription fee. In order for her to stream music from her phone to the head unit, there's a subscription fee for that. That is insane. Even just using a remote start on the key fob, there's another subscription fee. Wow, that is so crazy. You know, and I've been preaching about this for a while. I've really been preaching about this, and I sort of foresaw this coming, and I think the future, it's gonna be even worse. It's gonna be even worse than this. Hold on, the sun is in my eyes. But the point of me, advocating for this whole vintage tech and, you know, just go for the old stuff is not just because I love old things, and it's not also because, you know, going for these old things would actually save the environment because you're recycling, reusing, you're fixing things and not utilizing the earth's resources as much, right? But it's also because there's actually more control. There's more control when you are actually using these old things, because the old things give you more room, more flexibility to have real ownership, to have real ownership. And that is what is lacking in a lot of these digital services models that we see out there, is that there isn't much real ownership. It's just a subscription model, and you're paying for things that are, in my opinion, like fluff. You're paying for things that you actually don't own. I own my DVDs, at least the copies that I have. I own the VHS tapes that I have. I own the physical things that I actually own, that I actually have, right? But when you're subscribing for like streaming services, you don't own anything. You don't own anything. And even when you think you own that thing, you actually really don't. For case in point, I bought a Toyota Corolla, a 2020 Toyota Corolla, and when I bought it, it had a navigation app installed. It had like other apps installed. When I bought it used. I did not know that they were going to discontinue the services in just a few months. I guess that's why the person that sold it to me sold it. But immediately after I bought it, in just the next few months, Toyota discontinued the navigation app. So no more navigation, built-in navigation. They also discontinued the whole app ecosystem, you know? And not just that, they came into my car remotely and deleted the apps from the car that I had purchased. They had that much audacity and that much control to come into my car, because these cars are all connected. They're all, they have internet connection to the manufacturer. They have access to these cars. You really do not own everything about the car. They came in remotely and deleted the apps. I was kind of pissed, but what can I do? That's the new world that we live in. And that's what I'm trying to get at. We really do not own these modern digital services. It could be as big as a car or even a house or a fridge. But the manufacturers do maintain access to that thing that you purchased. And for me, it's not just a violation of privacy and ownership, but also a violation of just trust, right? And that is why I will always advocate for us to own our own. Own the things that you buy, and the best things to buy, in my opinion, is the vintage things, the older things, the things that were manufactured before the advent of the digital revolution. Because the old cars, you could play on CDs, your own CDs. You could play even if the kids were, disturbing in the back of the car. You could put in a DVD and they would be entertained for hours. Now they took that out. They took the DVD players out so that you would rely on the apps and the services and the connectivity from your phone, which is so inconvenient and such a distraction, a safety thing. But not just that, they also did that because they know that eventually they will have the ability to come in and discontinue these digital services or put a premium on them, which is exactly what they're doing. It's always a long game when it comes to this capitalist society, that hyper capitalist society. It's not just capitalism, but it's hyper capitalism. It's always the long game, which is exactly why I always say that, take these things with a pinch of salt, because um, it's never what it appears to be. They're not providing these services to you because they love you so much or they want you to experience this whole convenience thing, but ultimately it comes down to their ability to monetize, and to monetize it to a point where you're frustrated and you have no choice but to shell out more money. It's job security for them. It's financial security for them, and that's why Netflix can keep on increasing their uh, subscription monthly fees, because they know that you're hooked in. You're hooked in, so they know that they can always tweak it a little bit, a few cents, a few cents, a few cents, and just like property taxes, it always goes up, right? So, anyways, yeah, just a thought as I watched this video. These are some of the thoughts that just flooded my brain, and unfortunately, I think it's gonna get worse. Unfortunately, the future is not looking bright. And mark my words, this is what I'm gonna leave you guys with. Mark my words, it's gonna get to a point where the old stuff, the vintage things that a lot of us do not regard right now, they're gonna be sold for premium. They're gonna be sold for premium in the next 10, 15 years. The cars that you don't regard, they're gonna be sought after. People are gonna be seeking after old cars, old engines, because in the next 20, 30 years, the technology is gonna be all mostly so digital and connected that people are gonna miss the old days of freedom, the ability to play your own music, the ability to just drive a car and not be monitored by somebody somewhere, following all your stops and turns, and they having access to everything that you, even having mics in cars that can easily be turned on to listen to whatever thing that you're talking about with your partner. It's crazy. And there's gonna be a premium on those old cars. I think that's what's coming.